Hey everybody, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Pete A. Turner, executive producer and host of the Break It Down show. Working on getting John Brenkus on the show today, and we have Scott Huesing about to check in. Good old Scott Huesing, Longhorn 6, Echo and Ramadi author, award-winning, best-selling author. So all this is going to get set up here. Everybody's getting checked in and clicked in. It's 8 in the morning here on the East Coast or on the West Coast. So we're just kind of getting started. I guess a couple of announcements. I'll do that while we do. Yesterday we had on Charlie Brennemans. If you go to breakitdownshow.com, our daily podcast will always post there, and the main show will always be the first thing you see at breakitdownshow.com. But in general, if you want to go back in time, you can go to the guest tab, and then alphabetically you can look at every single guest that we've ever had based upon their letter or last name. So if you want to do that, I think there's also a search bar, so you can look at any of the nearly 800 episodes that we have created. And actually, as we record this today, we blast past 750 and head towards 800 episodes, and we'll hit 800 pretty soon. I think in August we get to 800, if not July. Either way, 800 episodes. Can you believe it? It's so crazy to even say it when the world is full of podcasts getting started that do 10 or 12 episodes. Here we are flexing our muscles on the beach, looking like an 800-pound gorilla. Sorry, 800 shows. So pretty neat to be able to say that, and proud of the work that everybody's done in conjunction with the Break It Down show. There's a lot of people that help out with that. I mean, not just the folks that watch and listen, but the people along the way who have contributed. Like Mark Valley was, for a while, a host and producer on the show. And then he went and started creating the live drop, and so he did his own thing. But Mark Valley was a significant part of the show for a long time. Hilliard Guest, who's a friend of mine, and we're going to have him on very, very soon. He has been a big help to the show. Jay Moore, our big brother, he has been an enormous help to the show. So we've had a lot of people over the years that have helped us out. Actually, one of the very first people that we built the show on, Mick Betancourt, he should be coming on in August timeframe. So that's pretty cool. And if you don't know who Mick is, Mick creates all of the shows, Chicago This, like Chicago Hope, Chicago Fire, Chicago Pete, all those kind of shows. Sorry about that. All those shows, he's the one that creates those things. He's also a comedian, and he had his own show for a while, the Mick Betancourt Show, and it was one of the ones that John and I listened to as we tried to build out what the show was going to be. So, just it's neat to be able to hit these milestones and reflect back, and it seems like we get to them all the time because we put out a lot of shows, but I always like to slow down and appreciate it, because it's easy to work yourself to death day to day trying to do something and not really slow down and appreciate just how impactful it is. I mean, you look at how many things are created 800 times. Now, I'm sure the Ellen Show has a bazillion shows on us, but when you start to look around at 800 episodes of something, it's a significant landmark, and we're pretty proud of it. I don't know that we'll slow down much to celebrate it, but just thinking about those kind of things and reflecting back on all of the people that we've interacted with and the people that have become wonderful friends. Well, I mean, it's neat to be able to do. Let me check my messages here. I feel like I might have had something come through. Yes, Scott's internet sucks. So he's trying to get in, but not able to do it yet. He's working on it. And then hopefully we'll get John here pretty quick too. Anyhow, so all of that stuff aside, a couple other things too. Prison Chronicles is rounding into shape, should have episode 1 in the pipe, ready to go on time for July 15th. And then we're just going to slowly put these things out, on a pace that we're able to maintain. I'm hoping to do it once a week, basically, and if possible, I'll batch them and load them out. The thing is, like, it's just a lot of work to write everything, to grab all the images, to do the full production. It takes time to do all those things. Here comes my man Scott Huesing. Here we go. There he is. Hey, and he's
good morning. I did not want to get up this morning. I didn't oversleep. I was up like around 6, but
it's really quiet. Maybe you can turn your microphone up or something.
You want to put my microphone in? 1 second.
I don't know. It's just really quiet. Yeah, so the Prison Chronicles is in a shape that should come out in about, I guess, in about 3 weeks, which is crazy because we've worked for a long time on it. And what that is about, so it's prison reform, and as we look at all of the Black Lives Matter and all of the social unrest, with as we try to sort out how to balance the scales a little bit, I think prison reform is a big part of this. Oh, you can hear him fine. Okay, good. All right, Thomas Epperly, who used to be my NCO for 5 minutes. When I was in Germany, this is Scott will appreciate this. When I was in Germany before we deployed, I think in less than 2 years, I had over 7 NCOs, and Sergeant Epperly was one of them for a minute. Not long, but I think he was like our office NCO, if I remember correctly. I got handed around quite a bit, partly because Scott, I could shoot straight, I could run fast, and I self-developed a lot. I won every single soldier of the whatever board I ever sat in front of. So while they were slow to promote me, they liked to pass me around because I was a guaranteed leadership excellent block.
Pete, that sounded like dangerously close to like you were in a prison block and they passed you around.
I'm trying to hear you on my end. Say that again.
I said it sounded dangerously close, like you were in prison and they passed you around. Like, we love Pete Turner.
Well, I was at headquarters, so
being at HQ.
Yeah, and the thing is, in our MOS, like in the Army, you have a thing called MOS. That's your job. So in counterintelligence, even if you're an E4 and below, as long as you're 21 years old, you can get a badge. And if you've got a badge, they want you out in the field doing things. So you wore civilian clothes, you had separate rations, you had your own place. You had really nice perks. And so if your friends were all doing those kind of jobs, actually doing the actual work, and you were back at headquarters wearing a uniform every day and, scrubbing down old stoves and stuff and doing all that crap, it was kind of like prison. We really didn't do a whole lot. Like, they were like, hey, that container full of supplies, let's move that from this container to that container, and then we would do that, and then 6 months later we would change it back, and silly stuff.
Is John on with us?
I don't see him.
Okay. Let me text old Brenkus.
Yeah, you reach out to Brenkus, and I'll talk to.
You sent the link, right?
Say it again.
You sent John the link, right?
I did. Yeah, to the email address he gave me.
Yeah.
Yes, Sergeant Eppley says, I did very well. Loved having me in the office. But by the time I got to the office, we were getting ready to go to Bosnia. So I think I got there in September, and we locked down for 1 hour recall or something ridiculous like that in October. So I had 1 month to maybe get settled in. And then we started doing training, which is funny because most of the training we did, the most common thing that we trained on prior to deploying, at least in terms of what I recall, was the winter driving video. We watched that thing over and over again. We must have watched it 5 or 6 times. We were constantly told about cold weather training. That we didn't practice it. We just were kind of lectured on it. So those were the most common skills we trained were pre-deployment.
Where did you guys go for winter training in the Army? We go to Bridgeport, California.
Yeah, we go to the battalion conference room. Not joking. 100% true. If it is cold outside, you will wear gloves. You will apply, depending on the temperature, the field jacket liner, followed by the field jacket hua. Do not touch things that are metal when it's cold outside. It will transmit the cold through your fingers. Sign this training roster. And then you come back and you're like, hey, what are we doing today? Cold weather training. Like, didn't we just do that? Yeah, but we lost the training roster, so we would do it again.
I have one of the best cold weather stories. We trained in Bridgeport, California, and I did three packs up there, 2 summers, 3 winters, and I was a second lieutenant. I've got so many stories. They're so funny. But we were tasked on this hike. We went up into the hinterland, and I had a platoon sergeant who was young. His name was Sergeant Smith. And we were digging snow caves where you tunnel into the side of the mountain and you build the sleep shelves and you're sleeping on snow. And as we're digging in with the snow shovels, Smitty says, I got it, sir. and he gets in, and all I can see right now is like his feet sticking out of a hole, and I hear him, "Oh man, oh shit!" And I said, "Hey, what's going on in there? You all right?" And he climbs back out of the hole, and he's wiping himself off. He goes, "Shit, sir." I go, "What is it?" He goes, "No, shit. There's shit." So during the summer or something, someone had taken a dump, human feces, and the snowpack had obviously gotten higher. He had dug into that one sweet spot on the side of this huge mountain, this 9,000 foot mountain in California, and hit it.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. He was a character, man. If he could, I mean, literally and figuratively, if he could step in shit, he would. And
yeah, he dug right into it. Yeah, we learned it from a pamphlet. You know, like you had to know how much freshly fallen snow would stop a bullet, and it was like, don't get shot in freshly fallen snow was the training. You know, it's like 18 feet. 18 inches of icecrete that you had to learn from your TA PAM, like the Universal Forces PAM on cold weather training. Yeah, we did that.
Good manual.
Say that again.
The Army loves a good manual.
Oh, yeah. And we barely practiced. I mean, outside of the normal rotation of practice, we barely practiced source operations, just barely. Like we literally didn't know what to do, how to go do it or anything. And there's enough people that had enough experience that we figured it out. But for a unit pre-deploying, I was sort of, especially when I look back, I was shocked at like how little that we actually did these things well. And again, Brian Tice says, my dad learned to ski in the Army. Does that count as cold weather training? Probably. I mean, we had those kind of things. We had those things where you would go out and do, like we did a driving school where you learned how to basically offensively, they called it defensive driving, but it was offensive driving, really, like learned how to do reverse J turns and stuff like that. And then they gave us a class on cracking safes. If you can believe that, that's an actual thing. And we actually sat in front of safes and learned how to crack them, at least, basic ones. Mostly that was not, that sounds sexier than it was. What we learned how to do was if someone on the post locked themselves out of a safe, you learned how one might disable the lock and get around the lock on the safe. So it's just he's coming.
We have to slide right in the training plan today. So
okay.
We'll have to come back on at 3 Eastern time, 3 or 4 Eastern time. We'll have to let everybody know.
Okay.
To tune back in then. But John has got a his family issue right now, and especially on the road. So, but he just told me, he's like, oh man, can we do 3 or 4 o'clock? So we'll get him back.
Yeah, whatever. What do you want to do?
It's Friday, man. We'll do it.
Yeah.
3. Let's do 3 o'clock.
All right, 3 o'clock. Okay, 3 o'clock it is then. All right, well, everybody. Well, this was a quick show, just a few minutes, and we'll be back today at noon.
In case I change wardrobes, this again, our good friend Dave Bray, he makes these awesome T-shirts.
It's his birthday today.
Yeah. Hey, happy birthday, Dave. Dave Bray, USA. These are really like my favorite T-shirts. Sometimes I wear them like 3 days in a row. My daughter's like, Dad, take that shirt off. And I have in the summer I have different levels of hygiene. So I'll wake up, I'll go to the gym, and then I'll come home and I'll work on the ranch or something, and then I'll just jump in the pool. And if it's like really heavily chlorinated, I figure, well, I'm clean, right? Because I'm a grunt. Like do that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like level 2 hygiene. I think level 1 is actually shower, soap, regular hygiene products. So maybe I was like level 2, and then I'll throw the same shirt back on. But these shirts are great. Dave is doing amazing stuff. I've been following him online on Instagram at Dave Bray USA. We talked to him last year, Pete?
Yeah. We talked to him last year. Yeah. What a great guy too.
Yeah, great message, great heart. He's always preaching the right message, especially in times like this. He's one of those guys who just gets it. So
yeah. All right, well, I'm going to sign off here. We'll see you guys in a few hours, and I'll put a notice out and reschedule this. All right, talk to you all in a little bit.